What's going on, guys? Coach Vic here. So I'm going to be answering a question that I got via Instagram, and that is how to time a pitcher. Okay. Now there's a lot of different ways, strategies that you could probably do this, but when I hear that question, the first thing that comes to mind is you got to get repetitions, right? And you got to have an idea of when, where you want to be, what position you want to be in when, say, the ball is coming out of the pitcher's hand. Okay. And so now there's a lot that can go into this, right? Because if you're struggling with timing, there's some probably tempo issues that you might have. You're not loading properly, like you're not in control of yourself, in control of your front leg. If you think about it, like that's kind of part of your timing, right? Is whether you're a leg kick, you're a toe tap, you're kind of a heel up and down, or you're just kind of an up and down kind of guy. And so I talk about a little bit about this in other videos that are related to timing and whatnot, but I'm gonna try and keep this one like as simple as possible. So how to time a pitcher. Okay, so assuming that your movements, your load is pretty good. Okay, a general rule of thumb is that you want to find a point in the pitcher's delivery that is going to be the most consistent. And one of those places is, say, the break of the hands. When a pitcher, no matter what a pitcher does, whether they're big leg kick, they kind of, maybe they're a wind up and they do, kind of the old school way, hands behind the head or something, whatever it is that they do, if it's herky jerky or whatever, once they get to the point of breaking their hands, their timing and tempo to the plate is going to be very, very consistent from pitcher to pitcher, right? There's very few people that are going to break their hands and pause and then go. I mean, there are some people that are a little jerky, maybe kind of have a little bit of a hitch in their delivery, but for the most part, everybody's going to be about the same timing wise from release, or from break of the hands to the time of the release. So if you can base your timing off of that, you're going to be in a much more consistent place. And then once you find the timing, then it's going to be easier to repeat over and over. So the way I try to describe this, and again, this is it's difficult to do this, say it versus showing, but the way I help my hitters is I want them to be in a controlled position. Maybe if they're a leg kick, then they're going to be at the peak of their leg kick as the ball is coming out of the hand. Okay, so that means that as the ball is traveling, they're able to see, recognize, make a good decision, and then their foot is going to get down and then the swing is going to go. Okay, so that makes for a very smooth, fluid kind of recognition, and then boom, transfer into the swing. Okay, and this is where the ball looks bigger, it slows it down. Most people have experienced this. When you're hitting in games, you're not doing good, we're not seeing the ball well, the ball looks fast. It looks small and fast. When we're going really well, we're obviously more relaxed. There's a lot of other things that are happening, but you're generally seeing the ball, it's bigger and slower. Even if it's the same velocity, when you're not going good, it will look bigger, slower, and therefore you're gonna make better decisions, and that's why you're hitting. So understanding roughly when. Now, here's some tips for doing this. Like I said, you got to get reps. So you can do this at your practice whenever your pitchers on your team are throwing. If you're obviously not doing other stuff, you can hop into the bullpen and stand in on their at-bats. You can stand off to the side, right? And you're trying to find the peak, like again, a leg kick as an example, or whatever your load is, there's a peak point of that load before you start to transition, say, into a forward move or even just foot going down. Okay, when you're at that peak, you're not committed to the pitch, right? At that peak, you're getting yourself ready to read and recognize. Okay, you're in a mentality that's more aggressive, yes, yes, no. If the pitch is there, you're hacking, but you're not committed, right? You're not guessing, you're not lunging. So if you are at this point of control at the peak of your lift, as the ball's coming out of the hand, you're in a good position to see it and react and be able to cover the zone, okay? If that move from that peak is too fast, what's the obvious result? You're gonna be early, right? So this is where the whole idea of being slow and smooth, you know, you hear like Pete Alonso, there's this clip of him that says, I think it's like slow is smooth and smooth is fast, or vice versa, something like that, right? Anyways, the basic idea is the same, is that if you are able to be slower, you can keep everything smoother. There's no herky-jerky. Okay, so this is where you want to get to your load, the peak of your load, nice and controlled, see it out of the hand, and boom, and then there's your pitch, and then there's your swing goes smoothly into that. Okay, and so now you want to do this bullpens for pitchers during their bullpens. You can even do it in a flat ground. It doesn't even matter, right? Also, another tip is that if you're at home, you can throw on a game from YouTube on YouTube, and you can actually watch a pitcher. Watch a pitcher. It doesn't matter where you're standing. You're trying to create the timing and the rhythm with the pitcher. As they break their hands, you typically can start your load, and then by the time they get to release, you're at that peak and ready to come forward. Okay, so because these aren't actual swings, you can do this unlimited amount of times. You could do this until you fall asleep, okay? Because it's low impact, you're not actually swinging, so you can sit in your living room and just be timing up pitches off of, you know, a YouTube video. You can even pull up Max Scherzer or something, and you can time one of the best pitchers in the world. So it doesn't really matter. And I haven't checked this out, but probably on YouTube, I know this for a fact. There are catcher's views, okay, or like an umpire view from behind the catcher, so you could actually see it almost as if you're like standing in the box. So use that opportunity to learn how to time the pitcher, time your forward move or the peak of your lift with the ball coming out of the hand. There's nothing to lose. You can be wrong, you can fail. You just keep doing it over and over again. Hit that YouTube video, put it on rerun, and just go through it over and over and over again. And like I said, it doesn't matter what the windup of the pitcher is. You're timing the break of the hands and the release of the pitch. That from pitcher to pitcher is roughly going to be almost exactly the same. So that is going to be your best bet in creating consistent timing. And then your swing itself, your load and the control of your move is where we get into adjusting to off-speed pitches. Again, I'm not going to get into that into this video. I've talked about it in other videos. Let me know in the comments though if you need me to follow up on that in terms of how we actually adjust, say from a fastball to an off-speed pitch. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Let me know again, comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe, like, ring the bell to be notified of future videos. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.